time no see. All right, where is it? Right here. And turn off the sound. All right. If anyone, oh, looks like no one's. Oh, we got one person on watching.
We'll take one.
Yeah, person who's here, let us know in the chat if you can hear us. Oh, there it goes. All right.
All right. So we're doing Gloom Stalker today.
Gloom Stalker.
The unequivocal best ranger subclass.
All right, I'm glad you said that because, yeah, I was looking through the subclasses and I said, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's not my favorite one. My favorite is the Swarmkeeper, but if we're talking power level, yeah, I can't deny it. The Gloom Stalker is the strongest.
This almost makes me want to play a ranger.
It wants me. It makes me want to play a ranger. I was never interested in playing a ranger until I read the Gloom Stalker.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the kind of power level we're dealing with here.
All right, our one guest left. Has been replaced. We got a new one.
All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and get started so we don't lose anybody else, shall we?
We only got one person to lose. I'd rather.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. Hello, audience member.
So,
all right. Now you didn't have a prepared list for this one, but so I might be able to participate a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. This one's a bit more off the cuff.
So what are we looking for with regard to feats for a Gloom Stalker?
Well, with regards to a Gloom Stalker, basically what a Gloom Stalker is in terms of how it amplifies the Ranger playstyle is it takes the Ranger and it makes it better. Really, that's about all it's doing. It's taking the Ranger and making the Ranger better at what the Ranger already wants to do. We get some neat spells. We get decent upper level features, but
decent spell selection here.
Yeah, but the real power comes with Dread Ambusher, their third level feature, which, for one, gives them an extra attack on their first round of combat.
Yeah,
that does extra damage, and they also get a 10-foot movement speed bonus on that turn.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's helpful for positioning and things like that. If you're playing a melee build, then that's really helpful as well.
Is anyone playing a melee Gloom Stalker?
Hardly anybody, but for the two people out there that are, that helps. But really, more than even that, more than the extra attack, more than the extra damage, the big point of power that you can emphasize with a Gloomstalker right at level 3 is their ability to stay invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision while you're in darkness. So if you're fighting something like a kobold, for example, they have dark vision, and you are in a cave, so it is dark, and you're fighting that kobold, they're relying on their dark vision to be able to see you. They cannot see you without their dark vision. So
they can't
therefore,
see you with their dark vision.
Therefore, you are invisible to that creature. And this invisibility doesn't stop when you attack. It doesn't stop when you do anything. As long as you're in darkness.
This is my favorite feature of the class or subclass.
Yeah, and so you can leverage that to gain advantage on most of your attacks. So there's a lot to help there.
If you can be attacking from a place of darkness, that begs the question: how do we consistently do that?
Well, one, you adventure at night, which goes counter to what a lot of people think. A lot of people would think, oh, you adventure during the day when it's it's bright outside and you can see. Adventuring during the night is actually better for a lot of reasons. One, it's a lot easier to stealth. Two, a lot of things are asleep, and the things that aren't, you deal with that. But
those are the scary things.
Yeah, sure. But 3, if you're playing this build, you are invisible to a lot of creatures. You don't really see stuff that's got like true sight and things like that until you get into really high level play, and then it's even then it's like boss encounters.
Yeah,
so
dark vision, like you feel like, oh my goodness, like, oh, that creature's got dark vision. This creature's got dark vision. It's a scary world out there. But this, like, you want things to have dark vision if you're a Gloomstalker. because that
Yeah.
they feel like they have this advantage over everything, but you get them you get them with a false sense of security.
Yeah. So real quick, let's talk about a few ways to take advantage of this combat to combat. So one problem that we have is despite the fact that we are in darkness and they can't see us, if they are in pitch black darkness as well, if we have dark vision, which is you should play a character with dark vision with this probably.
Well, I mean, this gives you some dark vision.
Does it? I can't remember.
Yeah,
If it does,
see.
Okay. I did
That's
not remember that.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Just a second. Yeah, Umbral Sight, the first part of it, at third level you gain dark vision out to a range of 60 feet.
Okay.
And I like this next line. If you already have dark vision from your race, its range increases by 30 feet.
Yeah. So and
still,
another interesting
play a character
thing
with dark vision and get an extension.
Yeah, another interesting thing. You go through the monster manual, you go through monster books. You're going to find that most monsters that have dark vision have 60-foot dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
So by you having a longer range dark vision than them, that also helps because you can spot them before they spot your party. Because you're invisible, but the rest of your party isn't, right? So it helps when you're moving as a group. You can spot the enemy before they spot you, alert your party, prepare, even get a surprise round maybe.
I forgot which one it was, but one of these new crappy giant feats extends your dark vision as well.
Oh, does it? Okay, well that's useful. That is a genuine thing that is useful.
In fact, I was doing a video with Sam reviewing these, and it's got the text like this one does. If you already have dark vision, it extends. I think it's by 60 feet. So you
that's great too.
Some amazing dark vision range.
Another interesting thing, if you play a Drow or a Deep Gnome, and I think a Duragar as well, they start with 120-foot dark vision.
Wow. So
now we're talking
Drow plus this, plus whatever that giant crap was.
We're over 200, I think.
Yeah. Plus sharpshooter plus accuracy.
That's great. Perfect. You're transitioning perfectly into the topic of the video. So feats take advantage of this. Feats to take advantage of all of this amazing range and sight and everything. Sharpshooter immediately, yes, comes to mind because it is wonderful. And we make, if you're working in like cave systems and things, you may not be able to take advantage of the huge range, but you're not always in a cave unless you're playing out of the abyss.
Be in caves, you might be traveling at night.
Yeah,
you're on a hillside. You've got a nice line of dark vision sight.
Yep.
You got a range.
Yeah. So
before we go on, let me ask you one question. All right, going back to Dread Ambusher.
Yeah.
At the start of your first turn of each combat, you do. All right, you get an additional weapon attack. Now, what constitutes being in combat? Like, say you've got this crazy dark vision range, and you've got sharpshooter. You snipe an enemy with bam, bam, 2 shots, and then you just hang back. Like,
all right.
When is the combat officially over?
So it's a bit DM dependent, but how it's supposed to be run in the rules is that if you make an attack against an enemy, and it would start if that enemy. Okay, if you like take an axe and cleave a commoner in half, and they're all alone, that's not going to start combat because it was just one guy and you killed him instantly. That sort of thing. So if you snipe just one guy and it kills him instantly, then okay, combat hasn't started.
But if you kill him,
okay, yeah, that's good. So initiative has to be rolled.
Friends are pissed off.
Yeah. So at that point, the DM needs to call for initiative to be rolled, because even if the enemies can't make it to you in a reasonable amount of time, we still need to adjudicate how they're going to run, how they're going to approach, what we can do in the meantime. So basically how it works is before you even make that shot, initiative should be rolled. Now,
really?
Yes, because we're entering the realm of a surprise round.
Yeah.
Because
I thought surprise came before initiative. It doesn't?
No. Here's
Okay.
how surprise works. It's very commonly misunderstood, and it's actually important that you get this if you're going to play this, if you're going to play an assassin rogue. So here's how surprise works. If you sneak up on an enemy, they don't know you're there. You plan to attack them. The DM calls for initiative to be rolled. Everybody rolls initiative. Then the surprise round begins.
Okay.
And this does count as the first round of combat. So we're getting our Dread Ambusher, we're getting all of that. During the surprise round, creatures that are surprised, so the people who didn't know that combat was beginning at all, take no actions. Unless
Okay.
they were, if they were walking, they continue walking, that sort of thing.
Or if they've got something on their feet
Yeah.
that negates being able to be surprised.
Yeah, or that too. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
So the surprise round goes. People who are surprising basically get a free round of combat.
Okay.
So that's how that works. Very important if you're playing this, if you're playing an Assassin Rogue, if you plan on stealthing. It's very important to understand those rules.
All right. Well, back to the feats. We've got, naturally, we open with sharpshooter. Actually, that's not the way you usually do it, though. If you're
No, it's
going
not.
sharpshooter crossbow expert, you like to
You
pick
take
crossbow expert first.
Yeah, you take crossbow expert first because
even here too.
yeah,
Okay.
because it mathematically adds more damage if you're taking it at level 1. So we're playing a martial character. I talk about this a lot with the martial characters. They're feat taxed. You need to have certain feats in order to be able to do effective damage. So really, you want to be taking a feat at level 1 somehow, be it through a generous DM, be it through your race, playing Variant Human Custom Origin. Even if you want Dark Vision, you can play Custom Origin and still get a 60-foot Dark Vision.
Yeah.
So take note of that. If you want Dark Vision, Custom Origin's probably the best race for this class.
All right, but all right. Take me back to why do we want crossbow expert first?
Okay, so mathematically, if you making 2 attacks per round is stronger than making 1 sharpshooter attack.
Even with the increased damage?
Yes, because of the reduced accuracy.
All right.
Yeah, that's how the math works out. So I
don't give a crap about the math. I'm taking sharpshooter first.
That's fine, but you are dealing less damage overall.
But I'm dealing it from a farther distance away. I'll still get the shots in.
Potentially, yes. So
not necessarily in a cave.
Yeah, I would say it's a bit, campaign dependent, DM dependent, but maybe.
One more question. All right.
Yeah.
For the bonus action shot with crossbow expert, does that stack on top of the 2 shots we get from the opening round?
Yes.
All right, because the first one is attack action and bonus action, and then this is in addition to that. Okay.
Yeah. So keep in mind, now we're at level 3 now because we have to get our subclass. At level 3, you can be making 3 attacks in the first round. I don't think, besides monks, no, not even monks. Well, yes, monks, because they can use flurry of blows. Besides monks, nobody else can do this. So that's pretty fun. Yeah. You get 3 attacks on round 1 of combat. And then at next level, you take sharpshooter, and now you have 3 sharpshooter attacks at round one of combat at level 4.
All right. Now you have worked out the math between 1 shot versus 2 shot without sharpshooter.
Yes.
Have you worked out the math between 2 sharpshooter shots and 3 non-sharpshooter shots?
At that point, it comes out about even.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it favors just taking sharpshooter at level 1 a tiny bit by like a point or 2 of damage, but it's not by a lot. So, and also we don't get that until level 3. Keep in mind, you're only missing out on that for 1 level because at level 4 we are taking sharpshooter. We don't get Drambuster until level 3. So Anyway, that's the justification for taking crossbow expert for sharpshooter. If you want to go the other way, it's fine. You'll still be a powerful character, just less powerful. That's all.
Yeah. At any rate, these are definitely the first 2 feats we're taking.
Yes. Yeah. And so past that point, you have a lot more freedom. You take those 2, and past that point...
We talked about Hexblade yesterday. This is not nearly as feat taxed.
No.
Yeah.
So, like I said, yeah, you're very free to take a lot of different types of feats here. Keep in mind, think about exactly what we're wanting to do. We're a ranger. We have very good concentration spells. The ranger spell list is excellent. There are tons of fantastic options, as you have been going over in your ranger lists recently. So Pass Without Trace is going to be a big deal for this ranger because we want the stealth. We want to get that surprise round. We want to do all of those things. And Pass Without Trace allows our entire party to do it. Pass Without Trace is, for my money, the best second level spell in the game because it's also the most damaging spell in the game. That is because it allows you to get surprise rounds.
Yeah.
And if you weigh the amount of damage that your entire party does in a surprise round versus something like, I don't know, Cordon of Arrows.
Nobody's taking that.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's think of a good damage spell then. No, not Hail of Thorns. You know what? I will go as far as say Spike Growth. Spike Growth can deal a ton of damage, right?
Yeah.
A surprise round will typically deal more.
You sounded like that was a hot take. I like Spike Growth.
Yeah. I do too. I also love Spike Growth. So what I recommend for Rangers a lot of times, if you can get through a combat without needing to cast another spell, another concentration spell, just keep holding concentration on Pass Without Trace. It has an hour duration, and if you know it's not if you know it's the last combat of the day, then you don't need to. But if you know you've got more combats coming up that you could potentially stealth to, hold concentration on Pass Without Trace and just shoot your bow for the that in mind. We're talking about a bunch of concentration spells here. I do recommend Warcaster.
Sure, yeah.
Ranger has no inbuilt concentration protection.
Yeah.
They don't get Constitution saving throw proficiency. They don't get any features that help with concentration protection. They have to spread their stats between dexterity, wisdom, and then Constitution is normally the third most important. So your Constitution probably isn't even going to be that high. Probably a 14 at max. So
I mean, this is a character that's kind of designed to try to avoid being hit or attacked at all. So, Constitution might be a lower priority in general.
Yeah, and so Warcaster is really helpful because even if you play it ranged, you're still going to get hit sometimes. You'll get hit less often, but you'll still get hit sometimes by spells, by ranged attacks. It will happen.
Sure.
So that's really helpful to us. And the other points of Warcaster, being able to attack, being able to use a spell as an opportunity attack, being able to, do have your hands full. That part doesn't come up as much because when you're using a hand crossbow, you still need, hand crossbow in one hand, other hand free to, and anyway, that being said, it's still worth it. If you would rather take Resilient Constitution, you can also take that. It's kind of a toss-up as to which one's better. I will say if Resilient Constitution rounds your Constitution score up to a new modifier, I would take that.
I was certain that this was going to come up later anyway, because you love your resilience.
Yeah, well, the other great thing about Gloom Stalkers
I was about to say, you get wisdom later on in the subclass.
Yeah, Gloom Stalkers get wisdom saving their proficiency already. So they actually don't need resilient for wisdom at all. So you can take it for Constitution if you'd like to.
All right, now these are great ideas. As you said, we got some freedom. Is there anything that's going to help us with our attack pattern? I was thinking something like Stalker, but that doesn't really seem to. No, I mean,
no.
You're already invisible in the darkness. Like,
you don't need Stalker.
Scouring the list, and I can't find. All right, maybe Piercer. Like, I don't really like Piercer, but this one,
no.
You get an extra attack. I don't know.
No. So here's the thing: in terms of damage output, you're not going to find damage output increases other than crossbow extra and sharpshooter from your feats.
Right.
It's just not there. There's a
little bit with Piercer.
A tiny bit, but we're talking about less than 1 point of extra damage per round. So that's what I say. It's not worth it.
right.
Now, that being said, at this point, I could see if you really want to just lean into weapon use, lean into that sort of thing. If there was ever a time to take some of these feats from the Giants book or things like that, now's not a horrible time to do it. We're at a higher level. Our proficiency bonus is higher. We get more uses of the Strike of the Giants or whatever else you're taking. That all seems like every feat gives you a proficiency bonus times use per day thing. So if we have a higher proficiency bonus now. If you want to use that, if you don't have a lot of combats per day, if you want to take one of those feats, you can, and that will increase your damage a little bit, probably more than any other feat would. But I reckon that you can get more bang for your buck from your feats than those. We don't at this point necessarily look to feats for offense. We look at them for utility, and to cover holes in the ranger that aren't otherwise covered,
or just to get a bunch of spells.
Exactly, which is why Fey Touched is good.
Yeah.
So Fey Touched, you get Misty Step, and you get another spell of your choice from Divination or Enchantment at first level. Misty Step is fantastic because Rangers do not have inbuilt teleportation. Some subclasses do, but the Gloom Stalker is not one of them.
Right.
So Rangers do not inherently get any teleportation spells on their list. I think they might get Tree Stride at 5th level, but who wants Tree Stride?
Tree Stride's kind of cool.
No, it's not. Shut up.
I think it is.
So it does fill in the hole, though, and also you're not getting Tree Stride until 17th level.
By the way, I found it. It's Keenness of the Stone Giant is the one that either gives you or extends your dark vision by 60 feet.
Okay.
And with that, you also get to throw a rock and knock people prone.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, that rock does what, a D8 damage?
Yeah. But
it
knocks people prone. That's supposed to be the
See, okay.
Of course, as a ranged attacker, you don't really want to knock people prone.
Exactly. So a bit of anti-synergy there. Maybe don't go that route. But Fey Touch is great. And I would highly recommend picking up Silvery Barbs as your first level spell with Fey Touched. Because Rangers oftentimes can have... Yeah, Rangers can oftentimes have some first level spells sitting around that they don't really know what to do with. First level slots. Because at the end of the day, we can kind of dump them all into Goodberry if you want to and have a bunch of healing at the end of the day. But you don't always need that. So, it's a great use for first level spell slots. We don't have shield. We don't have things like that normally eat up those first level spell slots. So Silvery Barbs is really good.
Yeah.
Aside from that, if you want to go even harder into the spell casting, Ritual Caster is pretty good on Rangers. You pick the wizard list, and Ritual Caster is neat because you get to pick 2 rituals, but you also get to add rituals to your ritual book, much like how a wizard adds ritual. Much like how wizards add to their spell book. And if you wait until like level 8, level 12 to pick it up, by that point, you have access to most rituals in the game. As long as you've got the gold and you've got the ability to find them. Keep in mind, if you have a wizard in your party, you can copy them from their spell book.
And let's not forget, this is a good avenue to get Find Familiar. Yep.
Yeah, and Rangers love having a familiar. Yeah. So, for a lot of different reasons. And you can pick something like a bat that is very fitting to the build. 2, has blind sight, and that can help you scout. So, Ritual Caster is definitely something I would look to pick up. You can even get something like Phantom Steed with this.
Ooh.
And think about that. Now you have your crazy long dark vision range, and you have a horse that moves 100 feet per round.
That's not bad.
So yeah, you're never getting caught. So Phantom Steed is a fantastic spell, by the way, that more people should pick up, especially if you have ritual casting. If you don't have ritual casting, it's not that good. But if you do,
I've been kind of bummed about it since I started playing 5th edition, because 3rd edition mount, you just summon up a real horse. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like,
I'm not.
Chad
you have the advantage.
Horse.
Yeah, you have the advantage on older edition knowledge. I started in 5th edition. I have no
Oh.
idea what old edition stuff looked like. Yeah,
Yeah,
I started in 5th edition.
if you read my oh, you know what, I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Robert Bevan, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. If you read these books, you will see a lot of references to the Mount spell, and horses dying in terrible ways.
Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. So at that point, like really, there's interesting thing. There's not that many more feats that necessarily synergize with the ranger.
All right,
I mean, you can take generically good
one
feats.
more to run by you. I think I mentioned it at the beginning. Elven
Yeah, go ahead.
accuracy.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one I wanted to talk about. So, Elven accuracy is really good on characters that can reliably get advantage, especially when we're doing sharpshooter things because it helps with their accuracy a ton.
Well, Gloomstalker, you're shooting in the dark at things that can't see you.
Yeah. So Gloomstalker is kind of the ideal build and subclass to take Elven accuracy. You can even play a Drow. Drows count for Elven accuracy. So we talked about that little synergy. So I mean, like a Drow Gloomstalker that takes Elven accuracy and does all of those things. I would say that if you're doing that, you might want to go for your feat selection order, because if you're playing a Drow, you're not getting a feat until level 4, unless you have a generous DM, in which case you can get a feat at level 1. But I'm assuming not until level 4. So a Drow Gloomstalker would have I would probably take Sharpshooter at level 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting extra attack at next level.
Mm-hmm.
At level 8, I'm taking Elven Accuracy. And at level 12, I'm taking Crossbow Expert.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Ooh. I really wanted to cram that keenness of the Stone Giant in here, but you need 2 feats to get there.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, granted, you have 2 more feat selections to go, so you could take
about like the super longbow sniper. All right, how far dark vision does Drow give you?
120.
120. Gloomstalker gives you what, an additional 60?
An additional 30, I think it was.
Was it 30?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so that's 150 plus the Stone Giant thing will give you 60 more. We're not quite to 200 yet. But,
yeah, we are. We're 210.
Are we?
Yeah, 120 plus 30 is 150 plus 60 is 210.
Oh, sure is. All right, good.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, and at that point, actually, you would not want the hand crossbow, because the hand crossbow, even with sharpshooter, maxes out at range of 100 feet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, you could definitely make the big, giant sniper build and just forego crossbow expert entirely if you'd like to. Yeah.
I mean, if you're sniping from far enough away, like you'll get an extra shot off before they get to you anyway.
Yeah, if you feel like you're in a campaign where you can do that reliably and at least in a decent number of combats, then yeah, that would be very powerful.
Oh, a lot of fun.
So yeah, that's the build. Now I will say that's not the strongest Gloomstalker build. That's the one with the coolest. If you want to know what the strongest one is, you take a neat little race called Bugbear that gives you an extra 2d6 damage on all of your attacks that land on your first round of combat.
All right.
So with that, you on your first round of combat.
Does this count for ranged?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So on your first round of combat, we'll say at level 5, when you get extra attack, you're taking Crossbow Expert. You are making 4 attacks, dealing an extra 8d6 worth of damage, and you've got a really big Nova that you get to blast, and probably delete 1, maybe 2 enemies on the first round of combat. So that's how I would take a Gloomstalker build. I would take Bugbear, but if you want to go Drow, that's powerful too.
Yeah. It depends on how you want a Gloomstalker.
Yep.
Or Gloomstalker.
Yep. It's powerful in different ways, and that's perfectly fine.
I like to play a coward.
It's strange, actually. You find that cowards are the ones that live.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you.
Craven was a feat in 3rd edition.
What did that do?
I don't remember.
Fair enough. I'll look it up, maybe. So, yeah, those are my general feat recommendations. Pretty standard for the usual Ranger selections, but with a couple of exceptions.
Yeah.
We can definitely take advantage of stuff like Elven Accuracy better than most Rangers can.
Yeah, because you're generally, if you're playing this the way you want to play it in the dark, you're generally getting advantage.
Yeah, and play to your strengths. I mean, if you can create a situation where you're in the dark, be in the dark.
Yeah, that's what I was at the beginning. I was wondering how we could do this, but yeah, the best we came up with is travel at night.
Yeah, seriously, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on again, and
thank you for having me.
Thank you, 3 people, for joining us. We will see you some other time.
Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe and all that, and goodbye.
Yeah, I do all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.